Hi everybody, I'm Laurie from Create Your Own Adventure, and today I decided to make a video for all the newbie girls out there that are just starting to mountain bike. Here are 10 tips for new women riders, in no particular order, just how I thought of them. So my first tip, get yourself a good pair of chamois. If you don't know what chamois are basically padded underwear, and they protect your sit bones from getting sore. And they come in different levels. So while you may find them to be kind of expensive, if you go up in the levels so that you're more towards like a racing level, I do think that in the beginning it is good to go up a level in your chamois, because you're not gonna have the sort of calluses built up to be able to ride for as long as you want, as long as you're having fun. And those will come eventually. It will get more comfortable to ride your bike. Number 2 is you don't need a $5,000 bike to get started with mountain biking. I started off on a $400 bike that I bought off the internet. It was a full suspension bike, but it was very cheap suspension for $400. It was definitely no name brand. I met someone on the trail this past weekend on a $400 mountain bike. She had front suspension and no rear suspension, but she had some give. And some people like to ride hardtails. That's fine. You do whatever is going to be most comfortable for you and is going to keep you riding. That's what's important. That you can learn on a bike that is not super expensive and figure out if this is what you want to do. Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? What kind of riding do you enjoy? That's also important. You may find out that you only want to ride downhill park. Great. When you do start to spend money on a good bicycle, you'll know which kind of bicycle you need, as opposed to spending a couple $1,000s on a bike only to find out it doesn't ride well on what you want to ride. Maybe you love trail riding and you don't want to start out on a downhill bike with huge suspension only to find out it's more than what you needed, and you could have bought a smaller suspension and been happier on that bike. The larger your suspension, the harder it is to climb up hills, but the more comfortable it is to go downhill and go over obstacles and rocks. If you decide you want to do jumps, you're gonna need a big suspension. But start with whatever bike you're comfortable with purchasing first. Figure out what you want to ride, and then go for the better bike once you've figured out, this is what I want to do, here's how I want to ride, I feel like I'm going frequently enough to justify the purchase, because bikes do get very expensive pretty quickly. Get your bike professionally fitted. It's very important that the bike that you buy first, make sure your bike fits you. If you end up on a bike that's too big or too small when you start, you're either going to get fatigued or you're going to fall a lot. It's not going to make it fun. You're not going to want to do it. And what's the point? Once you've picked your bike and your frame size, have the guys or girls at the bike shop fit that bike to you when you buy it. Make sure that your leg extension is proper. Make sure that your reach to the handlebars is proper. Make sure the seat height is good. Make sure your cranks are the right length for you. My 4th tip is get good shoes. Now I know in the beginning you're gonna wanna just wear whatever running shoes, sneakers you have, and that may be fine for a little while, but what you're going to find is your feet are going to get fatigued before the rest of your body. Mountain bike pedals are very sharp. They poke into the bottoms of your shoes, and running shoe soles are soft. They're meant to flex so that your foot can move naturally when you run. So running shoes will be okay for the first couple of weeks, but I'm telling you, invest in good shoes for your mountain bike. Now when you buy it, you may want to consider going with clipless pedals or flat pedals. The difference is clipless pedals, you're going to need a special shoe. That shoe is going to click into that pedal and hold your foot there. There are some benefits to that, meaning that when you're clipped in, when you pull up on the pedal comes with your shoe for the whole ride. Flat pedals, you can really only push down. It's a typical, what you would think of as a bicycle pedal. It's flat, your foot sits on top. It does have pins in it, which is what I was just talking about with the running shoes. But you push down only, and then the next foot pushes down, which pushes this pedal up. So you don't get the benefit of pulling up with a flat pedal, but the benefit you do get is if you need to bail and you need to put your feet down for any reason, you just put them down. I am not sponsored in any way by any companies. However, the brands that I have chosen are for flat pedals. 510 makes great shoes. They have a good, solid, thick sole so that your foot doesn't get fatigued. They're also very sticky or gummy on the bottom, and so those little spikes on your pedals, they're really going to squish into that sole and give you a good grip and a good contact with the pedal all the way through your pedal stroke. For clipless pedals, the shoes I chose were Physique. I happen to really like that shoe. Start on easier trails. So trail ratings go from Green Circle, which is easy beginner, to Blue Square, which is intermediate. Then comes Black Diamond, which is more difficult. And then Double Black Diamond is expert trails. So on a green trail, typically you should find a few pieces of tech. You may find a small little jump. You may find some tighter S-turns that you have to learn to navigate. They're meant to learn how to bike and to practice skills and gain confidence. Intermediate trails, you'll find more tech. I'd say every few minutes on a blue trail you should be running into some kind of technical feature. It could be tree gates, it could be jumps. Again, the jumps are maybe a little bit higher. It could be drop-offs, small drop-offs that should be rideable. Black trails, you can expect to be met with pretty much tech all the time. They are difficult trails, labeled that way for a reason. They are made for people that want to do big jumps. They want to be challenged at every turn. And then the Double Black Diamond Expert, kind of self-explanatory. I mean, these are going to be the trails that people that want to be on Red Bull practice on. My sixth tip is bring enough water and bring some light snacks. I prefer to carry a backpack with a water bladder in it with just water, and then I have either a shake bottle or a bike bottle with some hydration in it. So we use Scratch hydration. I've also used the, I think they're called Noon, N-U-U-N, Noon, something, tablets. You don't want to put anything but water in your bladder. Water bladders are made just for water. Otherwise, they'll start to grow bacteria and smell, and you don't want that. That's gross. Figure out how long the trail is. Figure out how long you're going to be out. Is there going to be an opportunity to get back to your car, or are you going to have to run the whole trail before you get back to your car? And bring enough water. Generally, for us in Texas, in the high desert of Colorado, we're riding in 100 degrees roughly, pretty much every time we go out. So for us, we bring about 3 liters of water with us, and that's good for about 3 or 4 hours. So just kind of plan that. Drink your water. Don't just carry it around. Don't let it be a souvenir, as Dom would say. Number 7. It took me a little while to figure this out, and visiting a lot of trails, and I'm sharing my wisdom with you. Bathrooms. If you get a bathroom, it's gonna be at the trailhead. It's probably gonna be a porta potty or an outhouse. The trailhead is probably going to be your only opportunity for a bathroom. Mountain biking is still a male-centric sport. As we know, they can go anywhere they want very easily. Us, not so much. We still can, but it takes a little more and it takes a little bit of cover, hopefully. Not every trail is gonna have that. Some trails are super busy and you're just not gonna have the opportunity. So personally, I like to balance my hydration. I keep my hydration level at the tipping point of having to go to the bathroom. So I will drink water and drink hydration until I start to feel like I gotta go, and then I'll just bike for a little while until that feeling goes away. And then I'll drink some more. And you just kind of have to cross that, like keep that fine line going of having to go to the bathroom and not having to go to the bathroom, because there's just not gonna be any place. Number 8, bring a first aid kit. Even if it's a small one, bring a couple of band-aids, bring some hand sanitizer, bring a little bit of gauze and tape. Just a basic first aid kit. Injuries are gonna happen, and you know what? It may not be you. You may be able to help somebody else out on the trail that's fallen, that doesn't have a first aid kit. I prefer to be prepared, whether it's for myself or for others. Have a couple of bandanas. I always carry 2 bandanas as part of my first aid kit, and I've only ever had to use them once, and that was as a mask so that I could go into a store and buy some water because we ran out of water on one of our rides. Number 9, probably should have been a little bit higher on the list, but again, this list is in no particular order. Get yourself a good helmet and make sure it fits. Don't get a helmet that's too big for you or too small for you. Make sure your helmet fits, it is of good quality. I recommend a name brand helmet. They, in my opinion, they've just gone through more testing and are probably safer. I don't know that for sure. So once you get it fitted, you get it on, it should squish your face just a little bit if it's a full face. If it's not a full face, it's only going to come to about here. Every helmet should have an adjustable wheel in the back. You turn it, you use your thumb to kind of spin it this way to tighten the inner part of the helmet around your head. You do want it to be secure. The helmet's innards should be a little bit tight on your head, and then you have the outer shell, and what that does is in an impact, the outer shell has the ability to move a little bit, take that impact and break before it gets to what's actually touching your head. That's your protection for your head. And I've seen a lot of people riding trails without helmets. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Number 10 is an either or. It is another preference one. So some people like to wear padded gloves. Some people don't like to wear gloves. So either get yourself a good pair of gloves. They can be, quarter finger or full finger. If you don't want to wear gloves, invest in good hand grips. I prefer Fat Paws grips. They have a lot of squish to them, but I will say that when you start to get sweaty, they get slippery. So I wear gloves and I have good quality grips. So that's all for my 10 tips for new mountain biking females. These also, obviously, some of these apply to males. Some of these apply to street bike or mountain bike. So whatever kind of bike you want to ride, wherever you want to ride, whatever level you're at, just get out and ride. Have fun and be safe. We'll see you out on the trail.